my Night Wolves, and welcome back to another video where I am going to be reacting to horror story animation. It is the video where I last left it. It's the 30 horror story animation with the January to April 2019 compilation, and it's the Wansee Entertainments. I hope you guys are having a good October. We are one day closer to Halloween. One of my favorite months, one of my favorite holidays, I should say, not a favorite month. But yeah, I have a lot of lots of different and favorite holidays. I don't have a particular favorite. I love all the holidays equally. So if you want to know my favorite holiday, just know all of them are my favorite. Anyways, so we're gonna jump in and watch some more of the horror story animation. Before we do get into it, like I said in the last video, all the links to Wansee Entertainment's channel is down in the description. This plob thing in the corner, and at the end of the video there will be a thing that you can click on there and you can go check out their channel as well. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we?
My name is Magda, and I'm 26 years old. I work in an office in the city. On the weekends, I used to love to get away from all the hustle and bustle and take a trip to the countryside. Luckily, I have a cottage in a small village which is located right at the edge of the forest. How I used to love to get out of the city and spend the weekend in my little cottage. Why did I stop? Well, I'll tell you. After a hard week at work, I needed to rest, so I decided to get out of town. I went home, packed my bags, threw them in the trunk, and drove off. When I arrived in the village, it was late in the evening and I was tired from the long drive. I went straight to bed and fell asleep quickly. In the middle of the night, I was awakened by the sound of my car alarm going off. I looked out the window, but there was nobody in sight. I found my car keys, pressed the button to shut off the alarm, and the awful noise stopped. I laid back down and tried to fall asleep. All of a sudden, the alarm went off again. I didn't feel like getting up, so I just grabbed my keys and pressed the button once more. Everything was peaceful and quiet again. However, 5 minutes later, the alarm went off a third time. Once or twice could have been an accident, but now I was wondering what was going on. Could someone be playing tricks on me in the middle of the night? I got up again and pressed the button to turn off the alarm. But this time, I didn't lay back down. I stood at the curtains and watched. After a few minutes, I saw something by the light of the moon. A shadow emerged from the bushes and slowly approached the car. I could just about make out the shape. It was something tall, skinny, and black. The figure reached out with its long, thin arms and knocked on the car. The alarm went off again, and quick as a flash, the dark figure retreated back into the bushes. At that moment, I realized what was going on and began shaking with fear. I turned off the alarm and continued to watch. The thing emerged from the bushes again, slid silently over to the gates, threw a hand through them, and removed the partition holding the gates closed. I was paralyzed with fear, and I couldn't move. My mind was overcome by panic thoughts. What was it? What did it want from me? What was it doing? Would it ever go away? A shiver ran through my body, from my head down to my toes. My mouth was dry and my heart was beating fast. I was so tense, I was gritting my teeth and clenching my hands into fists. I regained control of myself and ran down the stairs as fast as my legs could carry me to the ground floor. I wanted to look for something I could use to protect myself. However, just as I was about to switch on the lights, I suddenly froze in my tracks. The dark figure was at the window. It was pressed up against the glass, staring in, looking to see whether or not there was someone home. I immediately ducked down behind the sofa and peered out. That's when I realized what all those tricks with the car were for. It was trying to lure its victim outside. I couldn't take my eyes off its hideous face. Its skin was the color of ash and covered with wrinkles. Its eyes were small, beady, and completely black. Instead of it having a nose, there were 2 ragged holes. It didn't have any lips, just 2 rows of
Voldemort, is that you? Sorry, I couldn't resist. She said, instead of a nose, there's just holes there. And I'm like, oh, it sounds like Voldemort. Anyways, let's continue, shall we?
sharp, yellow teeth. When it breathed, it was so heavy and hoarse that it was misting up the window. I just knew it wasn't going to go away. After standing at the window for a few moments, I heard a rustling noise as it came to the front door. I watched as it tried to push its fingers through the gap under the door. The handle began to twitch wildly up and down. The creature emitted a chilling sound. It was not like a human voice. It was a deep, beastly growl, like an angry dog chewing on a bone. I knew that if it heard me, it would keep trying until it found a way to get into the house. I crouched down behind the sofa, hiding in the shadows and desperately trying not to make a sound. Tears began involuntarily streaming down my face, no matter how much I tried to stop them. I could feel my pulse pounding in my temples, and I was shaking like a leaf, just waiting for it to end. I don't know how long I cowered there. I must have been passed out. When I woke up and looked out the window, the creature was gone. The door was still in place and everything seemed secure. I've never been so relieved in all my life. I ran upstairs and looked out the window. It was light outside and there was no sign of anything wrong. Taking a chance, I grabbed my keys and without stopping to collect any of my things, I ran out to the car. I jumped in, locked the doors, and drove away from the village as fast as I could. I didn't stop driving until I got back to the city. When I got back to my apartment, I turned on the radio and heard a news report. The announcer said that, in the village, the dead bodies of 2 girls had been discovered. Their corpses had been mutilated and dumped in a swamp. I guess the creature found what it was looking for. I don't want to, but I am curious to know. What would have happened if I didn't make the right decision of sprinting?
Holy crap. That sounded like a story that you would hear in like a horror story. Like a movie. Duh. Oh my god, sorry. It sounds like that sounded a lot like a storyline that I watched from like a movie or I don't know. It kind of reminded me of like a Wendigo kind of thing. Have you seen Until Dawn? I like watched like multiple YouTubers play that game because I was obsessed with it and loved the game. And that's what they kind of like that guy, that creature looked like a Wendigo. That's what he looked like to me. Oh, of course, I also made the joke of him kind of looking like Voldemort as well. But yeah, so I'm glad that she didn't go out to her car. She just pressed the button to shut it off. She like was so scared she passed out behind the couch. She was, I don't know. She's like I passed out. Did she just like passed out like she got so tight like she was scared so bad that she ended up falling asleep, or was she so scared that she passed out, as in she fainted? I don't know.
Years ago, when I was in the 5th grade, my friends and I were walking home from school when we noticed some of the other kids laughing very loudly at something and running away like they were disgusted. We looked back and they were laughing at this woman who was walking behind us. We didn't know why because we saw her every day when we were walking home from school. We just never spoke with her, or we never even seen her up close. We moved closer to see what was so funny, and we definitely noticed what the other kids were making ruckus about. This was a man dressed in a miniskirt with high heels on. The other kids were
Why?
throwing sticks and rocks at it, but he never responded. He just smiled while he was walking. A few days later, I just so happened to be watching the news, and I saw the same guy's face on the news. My friend who lives around the corner was getting her mail when she saw the man across the street watching her. He waved and he started skipping across the street like a little girl, while loudly asking her, "Do you remember me?" She was one of the kids that threw rocks at him. She shut her door as he started running full speed toward her house while wearing a wig, miniskirt, heels, and a woman's tank top. He started banging on her door until she called the police. He was caught within minutes. Anything could have happened to us that day, with this guy roaming our neighborhood. But luckily, nothing ever happened to any of the kids that I knew.
Well, that's the thing is, you guys are completely an ass to him. Like, yeah, he was dressed up like a woman. That doesn't give you the right to throw sticks and rocks at him. Like, let him live his life. If he wants to dress like that, let him dress like that. You don't have to be a complete jerk about it. Just leave the guy alone and let him live his best life. Like, come on. I don't know. Like, I've never had a trouble like with my gender. I know for a fact I'm a woman and so like that. But there is people out there who are confused about their gender. They don't feel comfortable in their body and they don't understand why. And there's people like that that are complete assholes and like, oh, haha, you don't know if you're a girl or a boy. Just look in your pants and you'll know. Like, just because they might have something down in their pants, like, doesn't like how you feel. It's like it's not like just looking down or like I have boobs. I can just look down and I have tits. Wow. Oh, a guy can look down in his pants and he can see his ding dong. But that doesn't mean anything. It people just don't understand. And it makes me so mad because I see so much people posting this stuff on my Facebook. Like not on my Facebook, but like posting stuff on Facebook and I don't really say anything. I should, but I don't because I don't know how to write like how to like go about it without starting an argument, pretty much. And I get so mad when I see those kind of things. And it's like, oh, just look at your pants and you'll know exactly what you are. It's like it that's not okay. Like it's not okay because like yeah, they see that they have a ding dong. Yeah, they see that they have boobs. But that doesn't mean that's how they feel. That's not like I don't know. It's so annoying. Like I feel so bad for that guy. He got arrested and thrown in jail for that girl being a complete biatch to him and throwing sticks at him. It's like that and like all those kids were in the wrong. I feel so bad for that guy and I feel like oh so what? He was dressed up as a girl, but you can tell he was a man. So what? Like I don't it's just it's complicated. It's a touchy subject, that's for sure. And I don't know how to go about it without def- like getting people mad. There you go. Anyways, let's continue, shall we?
This story happened when I was 18 years old and a senior in high school. It was an ordinary night. My dad worked the night shift, so we all decided to sleep in my parents' room. I was with my younger brother, who was 15 years old at the time, my younger sister, who was 11 years old, and my mom. My parents' room was a small, purple, square-shaped room, which also had a bathroom. The bathroom's door was across from the bed. My younger brother and I slept on my parents' bed while my mom and my younger sister slept on the floor. Before sleeping, we all had a short conversation, and after that, we went to sleep at 9 p.m. At 2 a.m., I was awakened by a strange sensation. As I opened my eyes, I had my eyes fixed on the bathroom door, which was cracked open. To my surprise, I noticed a black figure, which looked exactly like my younger brother. The figure stood there with his arms crossed, watching me. However, his eyes were shut. At that moment, I froze. I couldn't move from the bed, and I was scared that if he opened his eyes, he would have red or bloodshot eyes. I decided to quietly turn my head to the other side of the bed to see if it was indeed my brother. My heart sunk to my stomach when I realized that my brother was sleeping right next to me. So many thoughts kept racing through my head. Who is this person? Why is he here? How could he look exactly like my brother? I tried as hard as possible to sleep and ignore what I saw. A few minutes later, after opening and closing my eyes, I was shocked to see that the figure was now standing above me, still looking right into my eyes with his eyes shut. My eyes were wide open from the shock. I felt like I was going to die from a heart attack. I felt as if he was starting to open his eyes, which scared me and caused me to close my eyes and force myself to sleep. Forcing myself to sleep worked, and the next thing I knew, it was morning. When I woke up, I headed to the living room and saw my mom. After holding it inside for a bit, I gave up and told my mom about the incident. I almost froze when she said she saw the same exact figure and witnessed what happened. It was terrifying. We both saw the same black figure that looked exactly like my brother. It was as if he was my brother's twin. We lived in that house for 2 more years until we finally moved out. After the move, we told my dad about this story because he doesn't like hearing creepy stories, so we kept it a secret until we moved. He surprised us by saying that we were not alone. He saw some strange things in that house as well.
Okay, so that's very creepy. Okay, so he saw his brother, but his brother was still laying next to him. Like, if I woke up and I looked and I saw my sister or brother like laying, like standing there, and then I looked over and they were laying right next to me, I think I would have shit myself and freaked out and been like, I would have probably woken up my brother or sister, whoever was laying next to me at that time, and I'll be like, wake up. And if they disappeared, then they disappeared, but like I would not want to like just like force myself to go back to sleep. Like, you're lucky, like I don't even know if he was a real thing or what, but like he's lucky that he didn't do anything. It's whatever, but like that was creepy AF.
When you think of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, the last thing you'd think of was a horror story. But yet, here I am. It was the summer of 2014 and I was bored and home alone, so naturally I hopped on CSGO. I went to Dust Online to play some casual. It wasn't a very busy lobby, there was about 5 people on each side. I joined Terrace, where I quickly discovered the only other person with a mic was a guy whose name was something like Smarties McFlurry. He sounded a lot older than me, I was 14 at the time. His name was
Smarty
Dave and we
McFlurry.
got along well and we played good together since we had the same number of skill. We eventually played more CSGO together and then friended each other on Steam. After that, he asked for some of my social media and I gave him my Discord and Snapchat. Then on CSGO, Dave suddenly said he had to leave and we could play more tomorrow. So I got off and watched some TV and eventually went to sleep on the couch. I was home alone for the night. At like 1 a.m., I awoke and got a glass of water. Then I heard a Snapchat notification from my phone. Curious as to who was sending snaps at this time of night, I picked it up and saw it was from Dave. I opened it, and it was a picture of my front lawn and house. The phone and the glass of water fell from my hands to the floor, and my heart began to race. I was suddenly frozen, as if rooted to the spot. The darkness around me seemed to become thicker, and I swear I was seeing shadows all around me. Then I heard a knock at the glass. I turned to the back window, and there he was, the Dave guy, who looked a lot older and creepier than me. Without thinking, I ran to the back door, locked it. I also locked the front door. I could hear him calling to me through the window. Then I proceeded to run to the only windowless room, the bathroom.
Call
I stayed in
911.
there for about an hour, shaking and fearing the worst. I dreaded hearing the sound of Dave calling me again, a knock at the door, or even footsteps outside. I don't know how long it was before I fell asleep. The next morning, my parents arrived home, and I hesitated to tell them about my experience. I knew they would drop shit on me, but it wasn't just that. I was questioning whether or not I was dreaming when the Dave guy appeared at my house. I knew I had not been dreaming playing CSGO with him though. However, when I checked my phone, it was like he didn't exist. He was not on my friends list in CSGO, his Steam account was gone, his Discord was gone, and even his Snapchat was gone. All deleted. To this day, I still question my sanity about whether or not this Dave guy who I played CSGO with really existed. I know for sure we had chatted on the game, on Discord and on Snapchat, but had he really come to my house? And why were all of his online accounts deleted? I really don't know.
I would question my sanity too, dude. Like, if I met someone online and we're like not best friends, but friends, and I let them have my Snapchat and my Discord, which I do have a Discord, but I don't really use it. And then suddenly they up and just disappeared after they scared the shit out of me. I'll be like, am I okay? Should I go to a psych ward? I don't know. Like, I would question my sanity so bad. Anyways, let's continue, shall we?
I was a big Tinder guy a few years ago. Everywhere I went, I would update my location and then update, my body count. Then I quit doing Tinder and stuck with Instagram. I know they're completely different, and IG has a bunch of fake accounts. So I saw this girl commenting on all of my friends' pictures. Then she commented on mine. I also saw my friends replying, so I figured she was a real person because I looked on her page and she had way more followers than people she was following. So I DM'd her. I definitely thought she wasn't going to reply, but she did within an hour. We talked for maybe 2 or 3 weeks and we made it official. She was pretty, had a degree, and a good job, as she said. I felt she was out of my league and too perfect. Every day she posted new photos, and I told my friends about her and they seemed pretty jealous, except for my friend Ryan. He said I was stupid because I never spoke with her, and I only messaged her. She invited me over because she said she can cook. Ryan told me to don't go. The rest of my friends said don't have any kids, and they would laugh. So I went over there, but not without
Should've
Ryan
listened
calling me a
to-
clown first.
You should have listened to Ryan, honey. You should have listened to Ryan.
The GPS said she lived about an hour away. When I first started to talk to her, she told me that she lived in a nice neighborhood. But when I got there were people everywhere and the neighborhood was not that nice. When I stopped at the stop sign at the corner, people walked up to my window.
See, that's where the red signs, like that's the warning signs. The warning signs are right there in front of you, dude. Like, stop listening to your penis and start listening to people. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, she's pretty and whatnot, whatever. But like, she's like, oh, I live in a great place, and then you roll up to her area and the place ain't so great. That should be like, well, she lied to me. So therefore, I'm not showing up. I would turn the car around and leave. And be like, I'm sorry, you lied to me. You said you lived in a great area, but you lied. So what else are you lying about?
Windows and asked me what do I need. But I pulled off really fast and got to the house. It was a duplex, so I messaged her and she said to come up the stairs. It was about 9 at night and people were everywhere just standing around. I knocked on the door and I was definitely excited. The door opened and to my surprise it was a bald-headed white guy with a patchy beard, tattoos everywhere including his head with a tank top on. I asked was Lisa home and he said, yeah, come in. When I walked in, I was immediately hit with a musty smell mixed with cheese. He told me to sit down, and he sat down across from me on the couch. He said she'll be out soon. He asked me did I want something to drink, and I said,
Who
yeah,
the frick is
sure.
this guy?
When I got up, I texted her, can she come out, please? She immediately said yes. The man came back in with 2 cups of juice, one for him and one for myself. Then I noticed that he put a phone down on the table next to him. So I acted like I sneezed and got some on my arm. Then I asked for a tissue. He went to get some tissue and he left his phone like I thought he would. I text her back, and to my horror, the phone rang. I looked on the caller ID and it was my name. I heard him coming back. He came back and we sat there for about a minute. And then the phone rang again because he never checked the message that I sent. He looked at the phone. I looked at the phone. Then we looked at each other. I postured up, and he calmly said, "I guess you caught me." Then out of nowhere, he lunged toward me, attempting to grab me. I punched him, and he fell on his face. I ran out of there so fast, and I never looked back. Yeah, I called the cops. And when they got there, the man was still knocked out. After that, I never went on dates with people that I met online again.
See, like, all the red flags were there, and he just ignored it and went to her house. Like, dude, she said she lived in a great place, and you rolled up, it wasn't a good place at all. So that would have been a warning sign that something was not right. But, like, and when he got there and he saw that a guy opened the door, I would have been like, who the fuck is this guy? I would have been like, nope, and turned around and left. And he should have listened to his friend, but he didn't. Anyways, you guys, that is where I'm going to leave today's video. I'm going to do one more video on this, and I don't think we're going to finish this up in the next video. And I don't think I'm going to do any more videos on this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and ring that bell if you want to see more videos from me. Subscribe if you want to, and I'll see all you beautiful night wolves in the next video. Goodbye.